What's going on? Got my man Ty. What it do, buddy? What's going on with you, man?
I'm back, buddy. How you been?
I've been good, man. I've been good. And trying to get all of my little algorithms going, get all my view streams up. So I'm doing something a little different. I am live on my page, hoping for some unique views. I'm going to share this to the group so they will know that we are live there. Boom. That's up. But I hope that we can grow a little bit more this year as we head into 2023. How was your Christmas, man? Did you have a good Christmas, good New Year's?
I did. I had the in-laws in town, so Christmas was just very quaint, very nice. New Year's, we got to hang out with some friends who just do a last minute, hey, dress up, let's get nice. And I kind of became the bartender. So I did blueberry old fashions as well as blueberry Kentucky mules, and it was a hit. By the way, I'm trying not to talk too loud because my kid is sleeping. How do I sound on the audio?
You sound good on the audio to me. I can hear you, and therefore I believe our viewers can hear you as well. If anybody wants to give a quick comment, if you can hear Ty. Listening to the smooth sounds of Grown A Geeks.
I'm telling you what, man, that got me in a mood.
That's yeah. I mean, you know, I've got some new little audio that I'm trying to mix it up. We've got some. Last week was a hell of a show. We had a lot of fun on that one because it was. We did our. Why did I watch that?
Yeah, I was hearing about that. I'm sad I missed it.
And it is up. It is available. You can go back. Of course, you can find it on Twitch. You can find it on YouTube. If you click the QR code there in the corner, it'll take you to the link tree, which has all of our locations. So feel free to check that out. But yeah, it is on the. Let's see, go to the channel. Got to get this pulled up as well. Mute that. But yeah, we had our. Why did I watch that episode? And Denisha was on. Actually, I think everybody was on. Jeff was on. David was on. Linda was there. We laughed. We had a good time. It was a lot of fun.
What was the movie you watched?
Birdemic. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, that's a oh
my god.
That's a great one to have for why did I watch this?
Yeah. So it was a lot of fun checking that out, and a lot of laughs on that because the movie is just so bad.
Yeah.
And because it was so bad, it trying to get this screen resized properly. I can't quite. Doesn't want to cooperate.
Is my head too big?
No, you're fine. I'm trying to get I like to have all of the streams up and going so that I can see everybody's comments wherever they're commenting. If you're on Twitch and you're talking to me, I can see. If you're on Facebook talking, I can see you. If you're on YouTube talking, I can see you. So anybody that has any comments, feel free. We've got them on. Actually, Kevin, haven't missed anything yet. We just started. It's me and Todd. We're here. We're having a good time. Just kind of recapping how our holidays went. My kids had a good holidays. My kids had a good New Year's. And we got
But
down.
Did you?
You know what? I live vicariously through the kids. So yes, I live vicariously through them. And as a result, I get to say that I enjoy if they enjoy. Everybody got kind of what they wanted. And I've got 2 birthdays this month. My oldest birthday is it tomorrow? What's 2? Today is the 11th. So yes, I've got a birthday tomorrow. I've got a birthday on the 27th. So that's how my year starts out.
Well, I got my mom and my brother's birthday this month. My son's birthday next month. My birthday will get skipped in March. And then yeah, it kind of goes from there.
Well, I mean, March comes. I don't think there's too much that happens in March. St. Patrick's Day. So,
Well, because mine's the 14th, so it's right before St. Patrick's Day, but it's also like 2 weeks right after my son's birthday. So it's like he's gonna go to the museum and the dinosaur exhibit. It's like, hey, what does Ty do? Oh, he's gonna have dinner at home with his wonderful family that he loves dearly, but he isn't going to the museum. He's got nothing planned.
where are the comments? I'm not seeing our users' comments. Normally, I can pop users' comments up on the screens. What is happening here?
What did you mess up?
Apparently, something. Because you guys know I like to have your comments on the screen. Victor's commenting and Anthony's commenting, and so Anthony says his oldest son's birthday, or his oldest baby's birthday, was on New Year's Day. You know what? I think the difference might be that I've got. You know what? Maybe it's because I'm streaming from my page and not from the group.
That's probably what's happening.
Maybe that's why I can't see the comments right now, and I apologize for that. So if everybody wants to hop over to the YouTube page real quick, just so I can make sure your comments get up on the screen, or if anybody's watching from YouTube, send it, type a comment just so we can get that up there. But nonetheless, still I can still see them. So thank you, Kevin, for the test. I can still see them, and I will try to get them in place. Can you see any of the comments, Ty?
I do not see
Dave,
any comments.
No? Okay. Hey, Jacob, what's going on? That's one of our young geeks. Jacob says hello. So.
Hey, Jacob.
Oh, this is disappointing.
Yeah, I can. Okay. If I go to your page, I can pull up the comments.
Yes, that is okay. Well, we'll just rock it like that. I'll just keep an eye. So if you see me looking this way, then I'm looking at comments and whatnot. In fact, let me just move this over here so that I can definitely have it available to view. We'll move that there, make it big, and I will make my work window right here. So, yeah, we are Grown A Geeks. This is Way In Wednesday. Repeat.
I was saying, if everything went perfect, it wouldn't be one of our streams.
It would not be one of my streams. You are absolutely correct. That is how we know.
So as you were saying before, you were interrupted. Kidding.
So today's show, we've got some. We actually have some good topics. I really like the topic you picked, Ty, because I think that is going to be something worth discussing. Anthony tells us he also has wife's birthday in February, anniversary and daughter's birthday in March. Then he gets a break. Whew. I got two that hit me in January, Valentine's Day in February. March, I get to relax. April is my mother's birthday. May is Mother's Day. June, Father's Day, fortunately. But then, of course, it's like vacation, all that kind of stuff. So it's like all the money gets spent then. July, wife's birthday, and it's just it gets crazy. So I don't really get a break at all through the year.
Well, not only with that, you'll have friends on Facebook like, hey, donate to this charity for my birthday. I'm like, y'all are causing me to go broke.
Right.
Just like take my happy birthday wish on Facebook and that's it.
Right. You know what? I committed a few years ago that I wasn't going to be the cheap type. If honestly, it's one of those crazy things, and I apologize in advance to anybody. If we don't talk regularly, I don't make it a point to just like comment on your birthday and wish you that, generic happy birthday, because to me that's so fake. And it's gotten to the point people just like put HBD, they don't even go the full happy birthday. It's just HBD. And if I don't speak to you regularly, if I can't send you a text for your birthday, if I'm not going to call you on your birthday, it's like, it just feels so ingenuine, and I would prefer not to do it.
So what I do is I'll actually look up what day is it in a food calendar. So I'll be like, oh, today is National Whipped Cream Day. So I'm like, happy National Whipped Cream Day. Just kind of shake things up.
Let me pop this over here as well. Go ahead and post the link. So if anybody decides they want to try to hop in, they have that option. And we will see what goes on. But what we are going to, yeah, okay, cool. Oh, yep, that works. Close that down. Of course, now that my work window is over here, that'll be the one that has all my attention. So let me pull up the article that you posted, Ty, because I think that is a very good article to discuss. And it is tonight's topics, just so everybody knows, we go ahead and get it out there early. We were going to talk about Wizards of the Coast and how it affects the creators and fans who are interested in things D&D and that sort of thing, and the I guess the monetization process that they're going through, and it's actually going to be quite restrictive. We'll get into some details. I've got the article pulled up, but it is a big header for Dungeons and Dragons, and of course, you know, there's a Dungeons and Dragons movie coming soon. Chris Pine, Michelle Rodriguez, some other people. Michelle Rodriguez being the main one that, like, I was going to see it because she was in it, and Chris Pine's going to be in it, so you know I might enjoy it as well. So that'll be a plus. Hey, check this out. What's going on? We got Anthony jumping in the stream with us. Okay, we're going now. It's a live show, Ant. Just remind you, okay? It's a live show. Okay, like I said that and he hopped out. That is hilarious. That is funny. That is too funny. But he's got it. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Round 2. He's got himself situated. Give me a thumbs up when you're ready to hop in. This will be his first time on live. Come on, man. You here? I can see you. Do it. All right, we're bringing him in. Joining us tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we got Anthony Haley. What's going on, Ant?
Yeah, I'm cooling, bro.
Hey, that's what's going on. So tonight you're going to get a crash course in D&D. And we also wanted to talk, I wanted to talk about new HBO series that starts this weekend, this Sunday, The Last of Us.
That's right.
Yes. So The Last of Us starts this Sunday. And I think it's going to be a really, really popular show. I think it's going to be really, really good, really big. So I want to I want to discuss it before the show starts. We can give some, you know, what we think it's going to do. Is it going to be one of the better shows? What news have you heard about it? What do you know about the story and all that sort of thing? So we'll get into that in a moment. And as a result, because we were going to be talking Last of Us, I'm representing my PlayStation tonight, you know, because Last of Us is a Sony PlayStation exclusive. I am an Xbox man. I'm an Xbox man.
I'm console fluid.
I am console fluid. I'm a bi gamer. I'm bi gamial. I'm bi gamial. I like console fluid. That's a little bit better, but I would say I'm bi gamial because, and I can't really say pan gamer. It might even be pan gamer. That might be more accurate because there's some games I play on my phone that I am all in on just my mobile games.
Yeah.
And you cannot tell me these are not like hardcore serious ass games. I'm in a clan. I have dailies. I have to play. And it's like, even to the point where my wife knows that like Sunday morning before noon, I have to complete this mission. I have to do this. And you know, she did it like Wednesdays and Saturday. Well, technically the war starts Saturday, but it ends Sunday at noon. So I make it a point to get in Sunday morning, get all my attacks in, and I'm that's where my battle takes place. Wednesday, I normally get one in before we start, and I complete my last ones after the show is over because it's usually like I can go in, do cleanup because my team's not that, I'm not super strong. So I can only kind of go in and do cleanup. My older brother is in the team that I play on, and that's Empires and Puzzles is one of them.
Okay.
I play. And matter of fact, so I'm gonna try to pull this up. Here is those are all the games that I have on my phone. A whole folder dedicated to games. That is Survivor IO.
Oh, that's been so much fun.
That is so much fun. That is Rush. What is that called? Royal Match. Empires and Kingdoms. And I have the PlayStation app, the Xbox Game Pass, the Xbox app. I play a game called Gun Game, Arch Hero, Mob Control. I have Tetris, because you can't. I mean, you gotta have Tetris. I have Tetris. I have Infinity 8 Ball, and I have the GameStop app. All of that is under my gaming stuff, and I am like all in on those. And because I play Vampire Survivor on Xbox Game Pass, when I started playing Survivor IO, I was like, same thing.
Yeah.
So it's been a blast, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
I gotta ask some questions real quick.
No, what you got?
Since you've shown your games on your mobile, are you not a fan of the RPGs on mobile?
So I like the RPGs on mobile. The problem is I refuse to dedicate that much space from my phone for them, because when Genshin Impact first came out, I downloaded Genshin Impact to my phone because that's how I heard everybody was playing it. But the amount of space that it required for me to have it on my phone, I was like, no, we're not doing that. And then, of course, I just put it on the PlayStation because I could put it there. And then I put it on the PC. But since it wasn't like a cross-play game where it's synced, like what I did on PC was not the same game that I had on the PS4. It was like two separate games. And so I was like, well, no, we're not doing that. As opposed to some games where it's a universal, like when I play Vampire Survivor on Game Pass here on my phone, when I log into the Xbox and turn it on, it's the same game. So anything I unlock mobile shows up when I sit down to play. And I've kind of been neglecting my Xbox this past week? Would you say, David? I've been. I mean, not been showing up this past week.
I'm not gonna call you out on it, but you know,
you got
we were supposed to play, and no, we were on until 2:00 in the morning on Sunday.
Yes, I did make up a little bit that night, and but I haven't been able to get as much time in as of late. I actually spent the day. I did not play any games today, despite it being my off day. I was working on computers all day today. My son is in the process of building his first computer.
That's an exciting thing.
And okay. So Ant had to head out because he's on toddler duty. So I remember that. And so nothing wrong with that, man. Take care of business. But yeah, my son is in the process of building his first gaming PC, and he's super excited and looking forward to doing it. So I got to spend a little quality time with the kid and help him work on that. And we just about got everything put together, but he kept wanting me to like do it. And I was like, nope, you're going to put those little ass pins on the motherboard. I will stand here, guide, and make sure nothing gets messed up, but you're going to do it. That way, at the end of the day, you can take pride in saying, I built this. I want you to be able to say that. I want that to be a thing. So, you know,
you took the puppy approach.
Right.
And I will say you did the same with me when we built my first PC.
And because it's a matter of pride. And I just remember like when I was younger, my dad would like anytime I had to do something, work on my car or whatnot, I need my brakes fixed. And my dad would stand there, arms crossed, and tell me every step I needed to do. But it was my hands turning the wrench and this, that, and the other. And you know what I'm saying? Like if I wasn't strong enough to do something, he'd help out. But it was him telling me what to do. And as a result, I was able to say, I did that. And I want him to have that same pride, especially with him being a geek, much like me. And, you know what I'm saying? He's he's one of the people in this group. I want him to be able to have the pride to say he built that computer, that he did it, that I helped him, but he did it. And I want him to be proud of that. So I didn't want to do it for him. I wanted him to do it. So we got a few more things we got to finish putting together, but for the most part, it's about ready. And while he was doing that, I was working on a laptop that I am like so overdue on getting fixed and repaired. But the only thing it wasn't doing anything, and now it's ready to install Windows. So
Good.
I take a
Nice.
small pride in getting that one up. I hate that I couldn't recover the contents of the hard drive. That was the main objective. But when I got the hard drive connected, the platter just ticks. So yeah, it would have to have a clean room. It would have to be opened up, and we don't have the facilities here to do that. So it's like,
Well,
hate
going back
that.
to mobile gaming, I
So-
want to recommend Epic 7 and Guardian
Epic 7.
Tales. Guardian Tales is going to be kind of along the lines of A Link to the Past.
Okay.
That's that kind of game style, but did you ever play the card game Super Munchkin?
Super much doesn't ring a bell.
That sounds familiar.
It's a card game that basically made fun of or had inside jokes of nerd culture of all. So it had inside jokes of Magic the Gathering, of D&D, of Pokemon, just anything that was nerd related, it had an inside joke for. And so Guardian Tales kind of has that, where it is pulling all these references to nerddom, but like with a comical twist. So like there's an instance where you are meeting the equivalent of shoot, why am I spacing on their name? The Ulrich brothers. But it turns out instead of getting Alphonse's body back, Edward's trying to become the Golem again. Like they're trying to be golems together. In a comical aspect. But like they have a Link who you end up ruining his mission because there's a gold gem that you can take and it depowers this whole thing and he can't travel back to the past to save Hyrule, and it's kind of hilarious.
Oh, that's okay, and that's called Guardian Tales.
Yes.
Okay, that'll be one I can definitely check out. What was the other one you mentioned?
Epic 7. It's
Epic
a
7.
yes. So it's an anime RPG that is turn-based, and the storyline. It's not your typical where like you're all in a line. Like no, the animation's fantastic. The storyline is legit.
Okay.
Like that's the reason why I've been playing it for the last 2 years. Like it is, the storylines that they come up with are fantastic.
Then that would be Epic 7 is waifu battle game. Okay. And see, and it's funny because Lawrence commented on that. Lawrence was telling me recently, Marvel Snap. And that's the next one that I have to install and get put on the phone. So now I have 3 new games to try. And so I may end up taking off some of these other ones that I haven't played as much lately. Like I can't remember the last time I pulled up Mob Control or Gun Game. And I found out that Arch Hero, Survivor IO is the company that makes Arch Hero also. So as a result, I'm like, oh, okay. So that's why I like Survivor IO. And I can probably drop Arch Hero now. And that would give me space to, pick up something else. And so Epic 7 sounds like the one that I will probably go for. And in addition, I will probably jump on Marvel Snap. And Lawrence was kind of giving me a full breakdown on that. So shout out to Lawrence. And I have to check that out and get with that. So let's talk some D&D, man.
Let's do it.
Let's talk some Dungeons and Dragons. So the current story right now is there's trouble brewing in the Forgotten Realms. Wizards of the Coast, a change that they have to their
open gaming license.
The open gaming license. What is happening is, let me find it here. Hasbro's subsidiary, Wizards of the Coast, is poised to revoke its long-standing open gaming license, which allows for third-party publishers and fans to create D&D content using their game rules. That's been in place for 20 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
I think that's very important to note. For the past 20 years, you could basically create something based on the world that existed, D&D, using all the existing rules, etc. And it's like that's where Pathfinder comes from because of the open gaming license. And people would go in, set up Kickstarters, and they would launch their own games based on that open gaming license. So the new license, OGL 1.1, it makes numerous revisions to the D&D policy, including adding a requirement that all creators register any products they're selling with Wizards of the Coast. That means the new agreement also introduces a new 20 to 25% royalty to be paid to Wizards by licensed users making in excess of 750,000 in a year, while giving Wizards, and this is the part that I think really stands out for a lot of people, it gives Wizards a non-exclusive, perpetual, irrevocable, worldwide, sub-licensable, royalty-free license to use the content created using OGL for any purpose. That means if Wizards of the Coast take Pathfinder. Pathfinder is like a branch off of D&D. It's what we would consider non-canon.
Right.
It's based on everything that exists for D&D, but it's non-canon. This would then suddenly get enveloped as a canonical thing owned by Wizards of the Coast, who could then do whatever they want with that content. They don't have to pay the new creator. And then on top of that, the new creator would then have to pay them if they make a certain amount of money. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, they're on that bullshit.
What you got?
Now,
Go ahead.
Now, my question on that is it like in the instance of Pathfinder, which already exists before the new licensing agreement goes into effect, does that mean they can't, like Wizards can't just get the stuff that was under the old license agreement, can it?
Because it wasn't a signed deal, like, hey, you're signing this agreement, this is what it is. This is just our policy. That's what it was. So Pathfinder is going to be affected. Critical Role is going to be affected. It boggles my mind because they recently did this with Magic the Gathering, where they started like selling. It screwed over traders who've been playing it for a long time in an effort to try to get more people to buy their smaller packs. It's very much Hasbro's like, y'all need to make more money, and they're going about it in a way that screws everyone for just a little bit of change. So, because no one's going to want to continue if they're having to spend 20 to 25% of their income before tax just so they can keep selling stuff. Like, it's going to rob everyone the joy of being able to create something, and that's going to stunt the growth. Because that was one of the great things about the original OGL, was that it allowed people to create something new to bring new people into the community.
Now, the royalty payments that have to be made is that now, according to the licenses, the license would have to be paid to Wizards by licensed users who make in excess of 750,000 in a year. So on the one hand, it's like you want to do well, but you want to make sure you don't do too well. And
but all your product can also be scalped by Wizards of the Coast.
And that's the part that I think is really the back end, because if they sell and push the content and you make that money, now you're paying out.
So I'm kind of curious about the stuff that's coming out now, because before this had come out or leaked, there was talks about a Dungeons and Dragons TV series. You have the Legend of Vox Machina. Like, all these things are going to be tied up in legality of this.
Yeah.
So suddenly, those people that created the Legend of Vox Machina, they're not going to have to worry about, is Wizards of the Coast going to steal our story to then sell it without our consent so they can make extra money.
What you got, Dave?
Well, the possible good thing that will, yes, it will stunt the growth of RPGs, but with Wizards taking this step, you're going to get some of these creators that have been using the D&D content because it was there, it was easy. So I don't have to come up with a whole rule set. Well, now we're possibly going to get entirely new gaming setups because some people that think they've got that next big thing aren't going to want to deal with that. They're not going to want Wizards to take away their intellectual property, which is exactly what they're going to be able to do. So you're going to find, I think you'll find new gaming systems coming out or gaming setups created by these people that already have been creating content. Which I think, personally, I think that would be a good thing for the RPG world.
So
while it wouldn't be bad, if I may, while it wouldn't be bad, I think the only good that can come from this is the thought that Wizards of the Coast it would benefit Wizards of the Coast to do more in terms of promotion, to market those things that may not be getting the attention that it could be getting otherwise. I didn't know, but surprisingly enough, I didn't know about Critical Role until Legends of Vox Machina came out. And I watched that show. I know, don't make the faces.
I'm just surprised.
I know, but no,
I'm surprised. Because I'm surprised because I've known about them since before Vox Machina.
Right. And it's just one of those things where it's just, in a sense, it kind of never came up. And now, oddly enough, like my son knows about it, and he knew about it ahead of time because he watches online D&D gameplay. He watches other people play so that when he's not running a campaign himself or he's not participating in a campaign, he still gets some interaction. He still gets an opportunity to be involved and hear a story. And it gives him some creative ideas and things like that. And okay, wait, are comments finally coming through?
I mean, the only comments I'm seeing.
Okay, these are, something happened. There's a little bit of a delay. I'm using a different browser. I just go back to my normal setup today. But
to your point, you said that this is going to allow for new creators basically to create something new for competition. Mm-hmm. The problem is they no longer are going to have the backing of the community because now they're going to have to present themselves from scratch, doing grassroots. Whereas before they're like, hey, I made something that deals with Dungeons and Dragons. And the entire community is like, ooh, I can now see this. And this is what I'm interested in.
Yeah, I can see that. But I also think if some of these... But if some of those creators that are already out there producing content say, hey, because of what Wizards is doing, why don't you try this that we came up with that's outside of the realm of D&D? Because you could wind up with more modern RPGs, more space-type RPGs, like just getting a broader there's a word there, spectrum of gaming types.
Well, I think that broad spectrum already exists because the Palladium universe was always separated. Ninjas and super spies, cyberpunk, everything that was werewolf and vampire, and my personal favorite, Rifts. Rifts was Palladium universe. It was completely separate. and it followed the same premise of tabletop RPG, but it wasn't affiliated with Wizards of the Coast. It wasn't Dungeons and Dragons. And so my initial introduction to pen and paper RPG was the Palladium universe. They had TMNT, they had Ninjas and Super Spies, and they had Rifts. And Rifts is what I got involved in, and that was where I fell in love with tabletop RPG, pen and paper, the whole nine. That was when I got my dice set because of all of the different things you could do with Rifts. I mean, just the different universes, so to speak, that existed. They had like separate continent books and things like that. They had world books, the whole nine. And I ran a campaign one time. In fact, one of the guys that's on here from time to time, Jeff Miller, I ran a campaign with him one time, and we started off in England chasing down Excalibur, only for me to get the sword Caliber T. At some point, my 20-foot Pogtool made a wish because we found a genie as we headed to Atlantis, and my 20-foot Pogtool was now basically a 10-foot Dragonborn, and I was able to like do more because I could fit inside buildings and things like that. And so it opened up more options for my character, but that none of that was D&D. And so just having those other locations, since they already existed, this will push for this may actually push for additional content in that realm, and that may not be a bad thing because it could create a little bit more diversity in gameplay, because we will see more things along the lines of Vampire the Masquerade. We will see more things along the lines of Cyberpunk. Everything won't be sword and sorcery, even though you can still absolutely create a character. Since this comment can come up, Lord Silver Scott, what's going on, Carter? But yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, we would get things like Rifts and Cyberpunk, and we would get some of those other areas. And I think a push in that direction would be good for the community as a whole. But it sucks that it comes at the cost of what already is that got us to this point. And
I agree.
I think that's the downside, because just the idea that a season 3 Vox Machina could be tied up in legal tape is disappointing.
Oh, definitely.
Because season 2 is going to be the shit. Like, we already know season 2 is going to be freaking awesome. And just the idea that we may not get a season 3 going in because of this whole bit, it's disappointing. And so
yeah.
Is there any other good that could come from this? Because it's easy to point out the negative side. Why then would Wizards of the Coast want to go back? Is it greed? Would we speculate that it's greed that they're doing it?
Hasbro came at them sideways, says y'all need to make more money. Hasbro, we know, has always been greedy.
Oh yeah.
So this is either, hey, they gave us a gun and told us to shoot, and we're their bitch, so we got to shoot. Or it could very well be that there is a fear that Wizards of the Coast isn't staying profitable. And so maybe it's their last-ditch effort to try and stay in the game. So there's a couple things that we can try and consider. But it's going to be really hard for me to be convinced of any good when I'm seeing how much it's screwing people to get there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. The only, other than the fact that Hasbro just wants more money, the only thing I can see that would be positive is that some of these smaller creators will get more exposure because of it. Because they'll write something that Wizards might like and they'll promote the heck out of it because they want to make money off of it.
Yeah, but Wizards isn't promoting their product. Wizards can just take it and say, this is now mine.
Right.
So that's screwing those small time creators anyway. And if they try to create something outside of D&D, they're now competing against everyone else because they're, again, a small creator. They're going to have to do that grassroots of trying to build a community versus servicing one that's already there and very willing to be present.
It goes back to the idea of like, it used to be a thought process where like the greatest hackers that existed should be hired by the government to do all of their counter hacking and such. I think of the story of and this is something a bit more recent. When we had the Mandalorian season finale and Luke Skywalker, spoiler, sorry.
It's been a year.
Right. But it's reflex. But when Luke Skywalker was there and we had the, digital face added on to the actor, a graphic artist went back on YouTube and did a deep fake and made it look 50 times better. And dude ended up with a job at LucasArts. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you hear about those success stories, for lack of a better phrase, and you hope that they're all valid and they're exactly as you hear them to be. And this is I think where, and correct me if I'm wrong, I don't want to speak for you, Dave, but I think that's where Dave might be going with it, that some of these people who are coming in and creating some of this content based on Wizards of the Coast. Now, I would think in the same context that because they don't have to, if they decide that's a hell of a story, that's fantastic, okay, we're going to use that, it will still be, that story was still written by Person McNobody. You know what I'm saying? And because Person McNobody wrote that story or wrote that particular adventure that got published in the new book or the new campaign, Person McNobody is going to get that recognition regardless.
I want that to be the case, but how they've written their new OGL, like you said, it was sub-licensing, irrevocable, inexpirable. Like, it's very much of no. If we want it, we'll own it. And it's because they were utilizing Wizards of the Coast proprietary IP. Like, they can just say, well, that's now mine. Thanks. And if they're willing to screw over creators right now who are already successful, it's hard for me to envision them being cool enough to give someone a job because they wrote a really good story. Like that deepfake video, that LucasArts or Disney did not say, hey, if you do anything that deals with Star Wars or Marvel or whatever, we're going to own those rights. And if you make money off of it, we're going to have to get a percentage off of it. Like, I want to believe and I want to hope, but how they have written that, I don't have that hope. Welcome back, David.
I never left.
The response that comes from Wizards of the Coast directly, because a lot of this came from, if I'm not mistaken, this was actually initially a leak.
Yes.
This information regarding the OGL 1.1 was a leak. It wasn't something they officially announced yet, but the writing's on the wall because here's the new version. And so we got while they definitely will be, they will have the option, no doubt, to say what is or is not. And again, it does take the things that, and that's why I use the canon, like if they decide that we like this content, we don't like that content, they can actually make things canon that might not have been canon before because they like it and they want to adopt it and it fit. But at the same time, the question is more or less, does that build the community or does that hurt the community? Because admittedly, it's almost like if they were doing well enough on their own. And I would definitely say that there's been a definite uptick in visibility surrounding D&D in the last 4 or 5 years. Um, I feel like it's really gotten big as of late, and I think it is because of things like Vox Machina. You know what I'm saying? Because I found out
Stranger Things.
Stranger Things for sure. But the thing is, like, unfortunately, Will never really got to play that game of D&D he was trying to play. Poor guy. You know what I'm saying? So much more happened. He got to play real life. He was LARPing out there. You know what I'm saying? Like, he was playing the real story, live action role play, man. He was, forget dice. He was doing it for real. But like,
yeah, tennis balls. He was casting as fireballs.
Exactly. I've actually LARPed. It's a lot of fucking fun.
It looks like fun.
Mm-hmm. It is.
But because there's been such a visible reminder that D&D exists, we're seeing a lot more people be on board with it and be interested in it. And I know just here in group, we've talked a number of times. Posts have gone up plenty of times. It would be nothing to get. You know what? In fact, I'm just going to throw it out there. We have a Discord server, and one day, yes, you didn't know that?
No.
Grown A Geeks has a Discord server, and one day, real soon, I am going to just pick a day. Me, Jeff, Mo, David. I'll see if I can get France in there. Like, we have a number of legit DMs in the group. And one day I'm just going to stick them all in the Discord server. And we literally have a room already created for D&D. It's already there. And let me just pull this bad boy up. Because apparently, shame on me that we didn't know. But yeah, where's it at? And again, I have to do another shout out to Lawrence, because Lawrence hooked up this Grown A Geek server, man. He's got this thing tricked out. Present screen. Yes, I know. Share screen. Where is it? That one. There it is.
Is that what's supposed to be in Game Room 1?
So right over here. No. We have a right over here, as you see, we've got a whole thing just memes and the text channels, and we have voice channel, and there's the Hall of Justice and
the Avengers Tower,
Hall of Justice, general chat, admin voice chat. But when you come down here, we've got a whole section just D&D, game text, game chat, and you can hop right in. And we have a gaming platform already in place. We have our social media stuff down here for shout outs. We have a movie room and for those who weren't aware, this is actually where we, when we watched Zack Snyder's Justice League, it was on the Discord server. This was the Wizard of the Coast article right here. And so, look at that. I bake cookies. This does need more traction. So, yeah, I'm going to very, very soon. I'm going to, we were going to talk about that in just a moment. Because actually, you know what? I already have that pulled up. Where is it? There it is. We were talking about D&D, and so that's the D&D Lego set.
Oh,
I have got to talk to Singe about that.
Yeah, that's that is pretty dope right there.
And
you're pretty dope.
What I read about that, which actually that might be exactly what I read, it can apparently be a playable gaming map.
Yeah. That is the article here. Miller actually posted this article in group, and that's where I pulled it up from. That's right there. So I was like, that is pretty nifty there. And the fact that it's, I wanted more information on it, so I'm gonna do some more research as more becomes available. I'll find it. Um, but yeah, that was having those types of things that are out there, you know what I'm saying? Like it's that kind of thing that makes D&D more prominent. More people are aware, more people notice it. I hate to say the name because I always say it wrong, but the guy who, when we have the Joe Montagna,
I know who you're talking about, but that's
the
not
guy
how
who
I
played,
thought his last name was pronounced. Now I gotta look it up.
it's actually not Monte. It's like Montagna. No, like I'm sorry, I'm normally really good with names. I can never get his name correct, but you know, Sophia. Um, I'm having a whole moment.
Hold on.
Right. The guy who played Deathstroke and was supposed to be in the Ben Affleck movie as Deathstroke. We saw him in the after credit scene in Justice League.
Manga in the yellow.
He's a big D&D advocate. Like he is all about D&D. He's a big DM.
Manga in the yellow. There it
He
is.
runs his own campaigns. Let's see if Google can get it right. Wow, the way I spelt it and it pulled it up. That's what I'm talking about. And we're gonna like pop this up, and I will just so everybody knows what the hell actually. Let me do this.
I just played it.
You played the sound?
Yeah, but you probably can't hear it because I am wearing a headset.
Yeah, you would have to put the headphones on the not big. But actually, what I want to do is I want to just why is it not letting me highlight his name? It's being stupid. My computer, I tell you, boy. Okay, so we do a search there, boom, and then we're gonna add D&D in with the search. So
there's actually a video where he explains how to pronounce his name.
that is hilarious. But no, there's a picture that I want to pull up because it is like so big. And this is where I've already got it up. I was like trying to add it. So here's my man here. He has like a whole there it is. So there's like a whole setup right here. These are his celebrity friends. That's like Vince Vaughn right there. You know what I'm saying? Is that David Cross? No, that's not David Cross. I thought that was David Cross. That's not him.
That looks like David Cross.
It does look like David Cross.
But all white people look the same to me, so I thought David was David Cross.
I mean, he's had his moments. We've got no audio. Maybe we can just scrub through this video and it doesn't do anything. But like here, he's got a whole like 6-minute video. There's Vince Vaughn, definitely. Dungeons and Dragons Club, you know what I'm saying? And it's like the fact that you have a celebrity at this level, for lack of a better phrase, you know what I'm saying? And he's big into it. Vin Diesel talks about Dungeons and Dragons. You know what I'm saying? It's like it's a known thing. You know what I'm saying? And what's the Dan Harmon? You know what I'm saying? Dan Harmon's a big D&D person. He's got a show. What's that damn show?
Disenchanted?
Well, that's a funny ass show. But no, they actually sit and play D&D. Oh my God. I'm kicking myself right now. I've watched so many episodes and I can't think of it. Let me see. Dan Harmon D&D show. See if it just pulled it up, if it knows what I'm talking about. Google knows all.
Harmon Quest.
Boom. Harmon Quest is hilarious. It is such a great show because it is a very.
What just happened?
All of my screens cycled. That was really weird.
See, now all your screens belong to Wizards of the Coast. And
Apparently, because I'm talking about D&D, so I have to give them 25%. So,
wait, you
man,
making money on this?
as soon as I do. That's where we're headed in 2023. Okay, we're getting monetized. We're getting, I'll settle for 1,000 followers right now. So if you haven't done so already, make sure to click that QR code. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube, join the group, add us on Twitch, the whole nine, the whole shebang, the whole shabill. Be a part because we have a lot of fun here.
Mhm.
And then on top of that, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's equally important to know that we don't just, obviously we geek out about stuff like this. And I was so happy that Dave was on today. And I was like, oh, D&D? Fuck yeah, we're going to talk about that. Of course we're going to talk about that. But we cover all things. We cover movies, TV. Like I'm a movie person. Okay. Movies and comics. That's my wheelhouse. I'm top tier gaming, but it's not where my comic and movies are. Like gaming, I got Linda. I got my man, the one, the only. Y'all give a round of applause. This was a strong one. A round
Have
of
another
applause.
one.
Y'all give a round of applause to my man, the one, the only, Hat Man himself, Heroic Hat.
What's up, buddy?
What's going on?
Hey, what up? That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Hat Man in the house.
I was trying to scarf down some of this real quick before I got.
See, I'm sorry, and you didn't give me a thumbs up, so that is on me.
No, it's all good. No, I'm chill.
On me.
No, we're gonna make this a mukbang channel.
Hey, you know what, man?
You know what I'm saying? We've actually, I don't know if I still have that video, but I could go all the way back. Yes, thank you, Lawrence Harmon. Yeah, we see if I have my comments up, Dave. Hat Man, I fucked up. I don't know what I did, but none of my comments are up tonight, man.
Oh no.
Yeah, like normally I'd be having my comments and I'd be on it. I switched browsers and none of my stuff is working.
That's crazy.
You know how it goes for me, man. I'm gonna do this and it'll be better, and then nothing works. I have audio.
I can see them though. Like, y'all was talking about fucking Guardian Tales, Epic 7. Y'all was talking about mobile games. What's going on here?
Right? No,
shit,
like
you know those games? I had to tell them about it.
Yeah.
That's what I played. I had to tell them about it.
Dog.
See, this is why I don't have to cover gaming. I got Hat Man in the house.
I didn't know y'all was in here like that today. Okay.
Yeah, we covered that.
We opened up with a little bit of gaming and whatnot, and we were just talking about the phones and such. And
now we're in a Dungeons and Dragons.
You'll have to excuse me. I went to the doctor for the end of the year.
Are we talking about the them fucking up their money?
Yeah.
That is exactly what we're talking about.
Damn. 2023 just started. Y'all already fucking up this bad? That's crazy.
And so, well, you've always got a hot take, and I would love to hear what are your thoughts? And Wizard of the Coast, what information do you know? What are you up to speed? Do you know what's what about it? Or
all right, so I'm gonna preface my smoldering hot take with I don't play a lot of D&D. I've played like maybe 2 one-shot campaigns in my life.
Don't worry, we're gonna fix that this year.
That being said, I have not seen somebody fuck up their bag so hard as Wizards of the fucking Coast. Because not only that, they also are like
Magic the Gathering.
They're also like putting thumbs on the trach of Magic the Gathering right now because they're just throwing cards out just cause. And I don't know exactly what's happening with the D&D thing here, but the little bit that I read, I'm like, this is dumb. Oh, this is bad.
To give you a breakdown, what's happening is it used to be like a very open gaming policy where you could create content based on D&D and sell it as your own because it brought more people into the community and it made D&D more money.
Right.
Well, Hasbro's been like, y'all better get some of that money. And so that's when they're going like, okay, well, if you make over $750,000 a year, you got to pay us a 20 to 25% royalty. and it was 25%, but then Critical Role ended up working out a deal to where they lowered it to 20%. So now anything done through Critical Role, it's the preferred vendor of Wizards of the Coast.
Wow.
But yeah, so not only that, but they have it to where if you are creating content based on Dungeons and Dragons, they can sublease that content for their own. That's unexpirable, irrevocable. Basically, if you make something with Dungeons and Dragons, we can own that shit. It'll be subleasing, but it's ours. And that's an appropriate response. Thank you.
Oh, it's worse than I thought. Oh no.
Yeah.
Oh man, that was priceless.
Oh wow. Damn.
I'm glad we had a little recap. That's what we needed.
And
Wow.
the best part to me is the fact that reaction came from somebody that's not a D&D player.
Dog,
Right.
Wild.
Like,
What
it's-
the fuck?
It's like, as a company, y'all fuck it up.
Dog. Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, this is better than like what's going on in Smash right now. This is way better. Jesus. Oh, this is great.
So the first thing that I would like to try, because of course I want to try to be an advocate for the good. You know what I'm saying? And it's like,
There's a good.
well, and that's the thing. We are trying to find the good, and it's not to say that there is, but trying to look at it from a glass half full perspective to say, like, it can't be all bad. I mean, there was a reason that they were doing it. Now, granted, it's always about the money. It's always about the money when it comes to corporations, and so
There's no such thing as ethical consumption.
you know what I'm saying. So I mean, that part of it,
If I make the food and consume it, that's ethical as fuck.
especially if the food was good.
Look,
Yes,
look.
and seasoned.
You know what I mean.
Gotta
Okay,
be
see, that's
seasoned.
important. But you
Gotta
know
be
what I
seasoned.
you know what I mean. Come on now.
Now, the first thought, and this was the argument, and I won't even say the argument because it's not like I'm trying to die on this hill by any means.
It's
just-
the current conversation and debate.
The current conversation debate. So somebody has to take the stance of it not being the worst thing ever, that there has to be a good side. And the only thing that, and even South Down is kind of on the fence with it on this one. I'll stand a little harder and say, like, there will be more promotion that comes as a result of Wizard of the Coast having ownership. If it's theirs, it gets promoted more. As a result, some things that may not have been noticed will become bigger, especially if they're good.
I'm going to go ahead and say this in as nice a way as possible. If they fuck with the Legend of Vox Machina, no one's going to give a shit about some small time creator creating something for Wizards of the Coast. They're like, you wasted your time. No, burn it to the ground.
Yeah. And I will say that is the major issue with this, because it doesn't just affect, and I think that's the part that's most important. While it doesn't just affect the small time creator who's just getting started, it has bigger implications on the shit that's already out. It has bigger implications on the things that are there, because this could, like I said, this could absolutely impact season 3 of Vox Machina. Season 2 comes out. Somebody give me a date. Season 2 of Vox Machina comes out like not too long from now. I want to say it's first quarter. And, you know, not having that.
January 20th.
That's in a couple of days. You know what I'm saying? And it's
It's
Wait, that's
more
9
than a
days
week.
away. That's 9 days away.
you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's right around the corner. That's
This
something
is
I can look
great.
forward to. The only thing I'm probably looking forward to more than that is this Sunday, The Last of Us on HBO.
Oh.
I'm not going to do my segue yet. That would have been a hell of a segue, but I'm not going to segue yet. Let's finish this conversation. But no, I think like the fact that we already are right there in the season 1 being as good as it was, like, oh my God, people who don't know what D&D is can appreciate that animated show. You don't have to have a background in D&D to be like, this shit is good. I want more of this. Now, for those of us who are in the know and do like D&D, I was like, oh, Critical Role. Now, I was, and this was my, this was my little walk of shame. I was not familiar with Critical Role ahead of Vox Machina, but rest assured, I have watched hours of Critical Role since, because I was like, oh, this is awesome. Oh, wait, this is an actual group of D&D players who already had existing campaigns. This is the story of those campaigns just animated. Each one of the people that's doing the voice for these characters is an actual person who created said character. They have real D&D campaign games. They put it on you. What the hell am I doing with my life? Immediately went right over, and like, if
his wife hasn't seen him in a week.
Well, here's the funny thing.
He was never heard from again.
You know what? Let me just throw it out there. If that shit was on Spotify, that would have been my number one view. That would have been my number one view. My own shit isn't even my number one view on my Spotify. Ty, did you know that Whiskelodian had more viewed hours on my Spotify than Grown A Geeks content?
That makes my heart so happy.
I wanted to tell you that personally, sir. Now,
we've been talking about this for the past 2 weeks, bro.
I will say, in fairness, as I am on every show, I don't have to watch every show.
I was there.
I lived it. But I do often go back and rewatch for, I try to pick up little things that I might have missed, or something that's good, bad, what we could do better, and just try to learn and that sort of thing. So I do listen to a lot of our shows, but I get to just sit back and enjoy Whiskelodian. It's such a great show. And for anybody who's not listening to Whiskelodian, get your ass over to Spotify, check out Whiskelodian. It is a drinking rewatch of old Nickelodeon shows. There is a new drink that is made like every episode, and that is awesome. They have special guests. They had a clinical psychologist on the show breaking down characters. It is a fantastic fucking show with excellent production, and you should be watching it. Or you should be listening to it. It's just, it's what it is. I know it's on Spotify because that's where I check it out. Where else can they find it, Ty?
Apple Podcasts. We even started uploading the audio, at least, on YouTube. I think at some point we want to do video as well. That's probably going to be another year or two down the road.
In the meantime, listen to what they got. They've covered all the shows you want them to cover. Good Burger, all that. Help me out. Rugrats,
Hey Arnold. In fact, when we had that psychologist on, we were actually covering Helga from Hey Arnold. We've covered Avatar: Last Airbender. We've covered Kenan and Kel. We've covered The Adventures of Pete and Pete.
Pete, yes. So it is a fantastic show. So if you haven't watched it, be sure to check it out. Whiskelodian. That is Ty's plug for the night. He deserves that shout out because it's a hell of a show.
Thank you.
I do want to get some of these comments. Normally, I would have had them posted on screen, but since I screwed something up, Lawrence mentions Hasbro, the same people that boosted Marvel Legends to $30 a figure. Abso-fucking-lutely. For anybody who collects, I have a friend, I know he collects Marvel Legend characters, and he slowed that shit down because he used to get all of them just because he could get all of them. Now they're like high-end figurines. It's like, y'all ain't got no McFarlane shit out here, but they want like $30 a pop for their Marvel Legends. So if you're trying to build figures, ain't no more of that. He also points out, or he questions, what's it going to mean for Critical Role? And of course, that's the one thing we're thinking about. I think it will be a positive. The OGL 1.1 is a double-edged sword. It is going to be a strong blow for the fledgling creator who wants to get his content out. It is going to be a devastating blow for people who have already established and now rethink what they put out because of the restrictions in place and because of the financial loss that they take as a result of what they're doing. So it will be very interesting to see what happens going forward. Definitely a story to keep our eyes on. And if anybody's got any other thoughts regarding that OGL and Wizards of the Coast, and you know what, I'm going to play a lot more D&D this year myself. That is my one comment. Marius, my son Marius, is currently running a campaign. He's got his brother, myself, and his uncle Dave is in it, and we are running a campaign that he's written up, and so far, pretty damn interesting. And I shout out to Marius for the fantastic stories that he writes. He wanted to do creative writing, and this is an opportunity for him to flex some of those skills. So it's a hell of a show. And I was even telling him, I was like, bro, we need to we could do this virtual and we could record it. And he was just like, nah, I just want to play. You know what? I can respect that. We gonna play. We ain't got to record shit. Let's sit down. Let's order a pizza, have some drinks. We gonna have some fun. And that's exactly what we did. David Bree says, thanks for that movie. It's like, which movie did David Bree appreciate? Before I start Googling David Bree, do I know that name right off? But yeah, I mean, like Marius, the campaign he's doing, we've got the server in place. Be sure to go back and check the links there. Actually, let me take this here because Lawrence, being the G that he is, he actually posted the server. I'm going to pin that one. He's got the server posted. Brianna from GameStop. Okay, Mark, I need some clarity. That's my homegirl. So what do we?
So he's basically, oh yeah, David. Bree says thanks for the movie.
Oh, I'm with you. She watched Birdemic. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
She watched Bird. Where do I have my?
Nah, my man said I had to go to jail for that.
Look, let me tell you something. If you stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
I'm telling you, dog.
You stay ready, you ain't got to get ready.
You got to keep your hanger on you at all times, bro.
Look, I'm trying to tell you, man. I keep that thing on me.
That thing stays right there
on me. So, yeah. Oh, shout out to what's up, Brianna? Not my cup of tea. Like, I don't even have my mug up right now, but our first series of mugs was made by Brianna. So shout out to her.
Snap.
Check her out on Etsy.
Nice.
Not my cup of tea designs on Etsy. I would push it harder. I don't know how much time she dedicates to that anymore. So if you're watching Bree, I'm shouting you out again because our first mugs, she designed those and they're dope as fuck. And they're the best mugs I've had. You can let me not do that. That was about to be an accidental plug. You know what? I'll say it this way. The new mugs that I designed that are available on our Teespring store are not as good as the ones that Brianna made for us. So all of my moderators, they got mugs, and the mug that you got was one of the quality ones that I had Brianna design, and all the other ones, those are the ones that are available on the store, and you can get nifty stuff like this. That sort of thing. And I messed up my Teespring store, so that's why I'm not really pushing it right now. So David, just so excuse me, Heroic Hat,
Yes.
Hatman, just so you know, yeah, I messed up the store.
Did you try it in another browser?
So I had a bunch of stuff uploaded, and because it's like my store, I can go in and I can purchase samples of anything, right? So it's a little bit of a, I won't even really call it a hack, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I go in, and if I want to purchase something for myself, for example, right, I'm not going to pay retail price on my stuff. I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that? That doesn't make sense. I'm going to get it like at cost or whatever. So I go in and I design something and I can get a sample of it. Well, I did not know that if an item has been in your store for a certain amount of time, you cannot get a sample. It makes sense, right? Logic says, okay, cool. So I had this great idea. Well, let me just make another one. Let me design a duplicate item. That'll be a new item. And then I can get that. Apparently, when I did that, I created a new store. And when I created a whole new store for that, it flagged all of my items as previously created items. And it took down both stores.
That's crazy.
You know, on the scale of fuck around and find out, I think
I hit myself for copyright infringement, basically.
That's wild.
I violated my own trademark on accident. So I have been working slowly to rebuild the store, which is why y'all haven't heard me say shit about a t-shirt for a minute, because it's all jacked up right now. So yeah, coming soon. The merchandise store will still be up. Now, the funny part is, if you go to, like, if you do click the link and if you go to the link tree and you go to the spring store, the items will pull up and you can check out and everything, but it won't charge and it doesn't ship because those items are not available. And it'll just tell you that they're not available. So you place an order and it tells you like in a day or so that the item's not available. Then you go back in and you try to reorder and it tells you that it's not available. And then as the owner, you go in to figure out why the hell your stuff's not shipping, only to find out that all of your stuff has been tagged as infringement violation because it's stuff that you tried to remake in a new store. And anyway. So yeah, I was being cheap and I fucked up. So on the plus side, I did have all of my designs already and kind of, was it?
Did you just accidentally OGL yourself?
I literally OGL'd myself.
That's
yes.
crazy.
That is exactly what happened, Ty. Now, damn it, man. Yeah. See, that's why I was trying to argue for it being a good thing. It's not all bad, but this is what happens. Like, good shit gets ruined in the crosshairs. Like, it's just in the crossfire. But it's not all bad. Right. Okay. Lawrence Dunn hit up. Okay. So Instagram, not my cup of tea designs. And it looks like the Etsy is not my cup of tea. Okay, see, Lawrence beyond, bruh, like, I promise you, the moment this shit is monetized and this is what we do for a living, fellas, Lawrence is going to be our producer. I say some shit and it's just like in the chat. It's just right there. It's fucking awesome. I love it. I love this community. You geeks are so awesome. Oh, you're awesome. So awesome.
Did you guys see the new Quantum Mania trailer?
Ooh, I did.
It's the best one so far. I
did see that. And you know what I liked?
What'd you like?
I really could not just tell what's gonna happen from the trailer. Like I see some stuff that's gonna take place in the movie. but I can't like figure out the movie from the trailer. It's just a collection of scenes.
Yeah. But this one does show the veracity of Kang. Like, this is why he's going to be the next big bad.
Yeah. I mean, it for those comic people out there, there's a lot that you can build up and infer from just the story that they're doing. The fact that they're going to Kang, a quick, and it's funny because we saw somebody, there was a comment the other day in our Facebook group where somebody was talking about, it's funny, we mentioned Deathstroke and Deadpool.
Oh yeah, that was my post.
That was your post. And it was like, you know, people get online and they read one or two things online and suddenly that becomes law to them and they just know everything. They don't even realize that they're talking to the creator of said character, and they make like dumbass comments. And so of course that comes to mind because I was thinking you can actually, even if you're not like a full-on comic geek, or you know, comics just isn't your thing, you could go and you could look up Secret Wars and everything that Marvel has announced. You know what I'm saying? If you just read the wiki on Kang the Conqueror, go to the Marvel wiki. It's probably going to be a little bit more accurate, but focus more on like the stories that are being told and not specifically. Don't use that as like this is Kang and da da da, you know, but like it's a lot of really interesting content, and where they're headed in terms of the MCU. It's definitely going to be a wild ride. I don't know that it's going to be as solid as phase 1, 2, and 3.
Well, I think we can all agree Phase 4 has been the weakest of all 4 phases. No, that's not fair.
I was about to say that is a unique that's
that is certainly a thing you said.
No. I get what you're saying.
I'm sorry. I don't want to get no, because it had some great stuff, but it definitely doesn't have the cohesiveness that the other phases had.
That's probably the better standpoint.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. You guys heard me wrong. That's what I actually said.
No, I understood when you said it because we've talked about it. I knew what you were getting at. You've even made the specific posts that point out the other side of that argument. So I know what you meant when you said it. Phase 4 has not had the same traction in terms of universal popularity that the other phases have had. They've had some really good shit that got put out.
Yeah.
But because it didn't look, and I'm going to use the very specific word, because it didn't look like phase 1, 2, and 3, it doesn't seem to stand as strong. But in terms of the content, truth be told, the gatekeepers have to admit, like, phase 4 has actually been fucking phenomenal.
Yeah.
Like, they get it. Phase 4 was for phase 1, 2, and 3 was to introduce people to comics and comic book characters and Marvel as a company and as a brand. Phase 4 is like 100% straight up fan service for people who actually read fucking comics. And that is my feelings on it, because the people who would traditionally be your hardcore gatekeepers and like, well, that's not how it was in the like, y'all can't say shit right now. There's nothing for us to complain about in phase 4, because this has probably been some of the most comic accurate content that has come out in some time.
Yeah.
Very little sway from the original material. And it's because of that it throws a lot of people off, because it's not just MCU. This is comic accurate.
Yeah. To your point, I think phase 5 is when it's going to become more cohesive. It's going to start to feel like, oh, this is all tying together. Because if you think about it, phase 1, until Avengers happened, it was very much just disjointed one-offs of the origin stories of these heroes. And then they had Avengers. and it started becoming more cohesive. And even still, you have their own separate movies. So with the exception of like Captain America, Winter Soldier, everything else was kind of like, oh, we're on our own adventure and nothing's really affecting the other.
Yeah.
For the most part. So I feel like that's kind of what's been happening here is they've been giving us great content, but it's been scattered. But now we're going to get to a point where it's all coming together. And I think it's going to start with Quantum Media.
I think what's going to throw a lot of people off. Well, I won't say it'll throw people off. How do I? Southdown, you had a comment. You speak while I'm trying to get this thought together.
I actually lost my comment. I had a comment, but then it like ran away.
Okay, so I'll stumble through my comment, and you all can help me clean up what I'm wanting to say. I think because we have Kang the Conqueror, and we watched Loki, and He Who Remains was in Loki.
Yeah.
But He Who Remains is not Kang, but in fact, Kang is simply okay, so first off, then let me just start there. Who's the original? That's something that has bothered me whenever you hear the term variant. Who's the original? Everybody is the hero of their own story, right?
I think you're misplacing because it's not so much of, hey, like Miles Morales isn't a variant of Peter Parker. They're their own separate things. The variance comes when they are divulging into another timeline that shouldn't have existed, according to the Timekeepers, or according to He Who Remains. So Loki himself,
the original. No one is technically the original.
Anyone that has split it off into a new timeline is now the variant.
So then,
Sylvie, before
the primary
her
timeline, it's only the people that exist in the primary timelines.
You'll notice that there were several timelines going through.
There were. But see, that's where like it gets to be, I won't say confusing, but that's where like my question comes in, because if you have these primary timelines, those are the originals. When that timeline splinters, that's where we get our variants. So is Sophie a variant of our Loki, who was already a variant of the Loki that died, technically, because he's the Loki that was during the time heist?
So I would say that Sylvie is not a variant of Loki so much as she's a variant of the Sylvie of her timeline who had the role of Loki.
Gotcha.
She was that universe's Loki, and then whenever her timeline splintered off, when they were trying to kill her, that's when she was the variant.
Now, another example or another question that would come into place is like, so when you have it's one of those things where like the Miss Minutes talked about the primary timeline. Now, the primary timeline is just the timeline that He Who Remains wants to protect, and whichever one he designates is the one that he wants to save becomes the primary timeline. Anything that splinters off of that timeline becomes a variant timeline and one that he wishes to erase, and that's what the Timekeepers are there for.
It's more nuanced than that, because for him it was every timeline that's in existence is a timeline where he becomes He Who Remains. Any timeline that branches off that would create Kang or any variation of that, that's what he had destroyed.
And it wasn't until Sylvie and Loki get to his castle, sit down, talk with him, actually kill him. Now he's not there to protect the timelines, and now Kang is possible.
Yes.
Yes.
So that's where it comes to say, is Kang a variant of He Who Remains, or is He Who Remains a variant of Kang? Because based on what you said, he comes from a splintered timeline, which means He Who Remains is the original, and Kang is a variant.
I mean, he calls Kang his variant.
He calls him a variant because there's multiple.
There's multiple.
Right. But the only one he's concerned about is Kang. It doesn't seem like he's worried about any of the other Kang. It's Kang. None of his other variants. Kang is the one that he needs to prevent. And apparently there's a certain series of events that create Kang. Just like I'm sure there were a certain series of events that create Alligator Loki or Old Man Loki or whatever the case may be. But there's a certain series of events that create Kang. And that's what he's trying to eradicate and prevent. Because some shit he lets happen because it doesn't affect his timeline. It doesn't cause the creation of what he's worried about. And as a result, those get to stay. The only ones he goes out and scrubs are the ones that create a Kang.
No, any Kang. Because it's very much anything that doesn't result in He Who Remains has to go. That's how he never has to fight himself, is because he can destroy any timeline where a variation of Kang or of Jonathan Majors. I mean, this is why, like, conspiracy theory, I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. This is why...
Red string that bitch now.
This is why...
That's mine, by the way. Red string theory. That's mine.
Okay. Hold on.
That was petty. I apologize.
I'm spacing on
the name, on a character, on a show, on a movie.
On the show, he was on Lovecraft Country. Lovecraft Country got canceled because that was a variant of Jonathan Majors that doesn't become He Who Remains.
Wow.
Hot take.
That is a hell of a reach, but damn, the pieces fit. But damn, the pieces fit.
Don't be doing that. Don't do that.
Don't you come on here and make sense with that bullshit.
Out here just throwing out facts and shit. No, stop that.
I did not sign up for you to come on here and connect dots, sir. That is not what we do. We throw out radical theories and argue about it. You don't just come on here making sense.
Only the most false of information on this show, okay?
That is a hell of a wow.
It's all coming together, man.
You really just gonna come over here and just make sense.
So
Really?
let's just for the hell of it. Does that mean he dies in Creed 3?
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Like, oh wait. Oh God, what happens in Devotion?
Yeah, do that.
Oh,
Nah, that's your fault.
Oh, why are you doing this to me?
See
what you did?
Look at you.
That's the problem with the red string.
Dog.
You give me the red string, and I gotta stretch it out. I gotta pull that thread. Damn, you on here making sense? Don't do that.
That made my day. Because I'm sitting there, I grabbed that strings, and then it fit, and that's the mistaken masterpiece. It was a mistake, but it worked so well.
So wow, that is you know what? When I saw that trailer though, first of all, Jonathan Majors does not look like Kang does not look like the kind of person that you want to fight with at all. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, in the comics, you don't want to fight him because it's like, oh, he's got a bunch of technology. He can't go back in
comics,
time.
he looked busted and lame. Like,
yeah, but in this movie, holy shit, does he look like?
Yeah, he like, the little bit I saw, and somebody made somebody made a comment and they showed Jonathan Majors on the cover of I think he's on the cover of Men's Health or something.
Oh yeah,
and like,
that ass.
and
Oh.
bruh is like so ripped. And the comment initially was that they were talking about, they posted the trailer for Quantumania, and they were like, everybody prepare to see Ant-Man get his ass kicked. And then they showed the cover of Jonathan Majors on Men's Health or Men's Fitness or whatever, and it was like, yeah, both ass cheeks. My boy was looking a little too ready to like just fuck something up. And when you watch that trailer, it's like, I've heard some really good threats, and it's almost like he's getting Dr. Doom lines, man. Kang is like, they're giving my boy Dr. Doom lines because he was like, I'll make it simple. Give me what I want, or everything that you call a life will end. What?
I'm out of here.
Wait a minute. Hold on. My man said, everything you call a life will end. That's
when
like, take
he
that
is
how
about
you
to
want
wipe him. When he's about to wipe Ant-Man's ass, he says, like, your daughter's not going to want to see this. This is your chance. Before you catch his hands, this is your chance.
And apparently these hands is rated E for everybody, because he said everything you like, and maybe I interpreted it differently from everybody else, but when my man said everything you call a life, I was like, bruh, like, you talking like the plants and the birds?
Yeah, I'm like,
and the dogs,
that's a lot of collateral,
life,
bro. Like, what are you doing?
Right? That's worse than Thanos.
Right, Thanos was only going to take half.
Yeah.
He said everything.
Well, because remember, he had told him, it's like, oh, you're an Avenger. I've already killed you then, haven't I? Like, it's very much, he goes, oh, well, this should be easy.
It's like, that's cute. that's adorable.
And this is going to be one of those things where, like, it'll revitalize a little bit that happens in the MCU. You know what I'm saying? Like, people who don't care for the TV shows because they feel like they're not as connected and that sort of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, this will give Loki a boost, because one or two people are going to see the movie. They're going to be like, you know what? If you watch Loki, you'll be able to appreciate more, because I definitely feel like it's going to tie in to what we saw in Loki. I think we're going to get a little bit more clarity, because we know that my man says, I can give you the one thing you want, which is time. And so the quantum realm, as was discussed previously, exists in a different section than where time exists, apparently, because they can do some stuff in the quantum realm they can't do nowhere else. You know what I'm saying? They can travel through time via the quantum realm. So the quantum realm is outside of the normal, like, space-time continuum kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so when you watch Loki, there's a little bit more there. And I plan on rewatching Loki before I go see Quantumania.
That sounds like a great idea.
Yeah, like just to like really be brushed up on it and make sure that I get all the little details. Because whether we know it or not, I genuinely believe that the what was the name of the place called? The Time Authority, wherever the
time variance, yeah.
TVA, right? The TVA. Wherever the TVA was, it looked as though they were showing it to be in the quantum realm. We didn't know anything really. Like, we knew a little bit about the quantum realm, but not as much as I think we're about to get as we see this new movie. And I think as we start kind of like putting the pieces together, right? TVA, thank you, Matt. As we start putting these pieces together, we'll be able to see that that is where the TVA is. That is where all of this exists. And because of that, really focusing in and watching Loki a second time is going to give you a little bit more perception on what's what. Because, like, if you didn't watch WandaVision, I don't think it impacted Multiverse of Madness, but you could appreciate some of the stuff you saw in Multiverse of Madness if you watched WandaVision.
I'm so glad you brought up WandaVision because there was someone who actually took the timeline where when Wanda becomes the Scarlet Witch, that timestamp of that episode matches the timestamp of when He Who Remains is like, I can no longer tell what's happening.
Oh, it's like when he starts looking off and he can't see the future. Right. I mean, let me say that we already know that Kevin Feige runs a tight ship.
Mm-hmm.
It is not coincidence. And I do absolutely believe that all of that stuff is connected. And much like you said, we're going to see it all come back together as we get right here through Quantumania. As we get into this next movie.
David, what are you doing, man?
David probably beating somebody's ass in a fighting game.
Maybe.
It sounds like he's getting it on.
What are you playing?
I'm actually just playing DNF.
I'm talking about South End Leatherworks.
No more. Oh no, he's making coffee. I can tell you. I can tell you what South Down.
Oh, he's making coffee. Okay. Okay.
No. You know what? This is not a Luke Cage reference. We're not going Luke Cage. Coffee. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what? I would absolutely. Is Pam up?
No.
Okay. Then I won't make any jokes. If she was up and she could hear me, I would make all the jokes. But if she can't hear me, then it's
no. She went to bed before this even started.
Okay. So yeah, Quantumania, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Quantumania. I actually saw, and I'm not sure if I saw what I thought I saw, but I felt like I saw a character in the trailer, in this last trailer. Felt like I saw somebody.
MODOK?
Okay, so I wasn't imagining the shit. I did. That's what I thought I saw. Yeah, I was like, that's an interesting look for him. Okay.
Well, there's 2 points where you saw him, and from what it looks like MODOK is going to be Darren Cross, the Wasp or Hornet or whatever, Yellow Jacket.
Yeah.
And so one, you can see his face, and then the other one, it almost looks like he's wearing his Yellow Jacket helmet.
Yeah, it was I saw the weird body.
Yeah.
First, and that was
with
what made
the eyes and
right. And then of course I was like, wait a minute, wait. And then when I had an opportunity to kind of go sit back and who is supposed to be? Yeah, that's yeah. I saw it, and when I saw it, I was like, wait, did I see that correctly? And I went back, and the internet fucks everything up. So if you're good at being on the internet, if you know how to search, that's what I'll say. It's funny because when I was like trying to think of Joe M and D&D, I was thinking about if Google was a person. People come, they sit at his desk, and they just like just search for things. So it was like Joe M and D&D, Joe M D&D, Joe M wife, and Joe M name spelling, Joe M how to say name.
That's not what I wrote. Joe M D&D, how do you pronounce?
And it would have popped up. And so it's like, yeah, man, definitely check that. Ant saying he got to go watch this trailer again. Definitely check the trailer out a second time because it is. I would say watch it on something where you can hear it properly and you can see it properly. I initially, as I typically do, I first saw the trailer on my phone. And anytime I see a good trailer that gets my attention, I make it a point to sit my ass down somewhere where I have like either remote or at my computer where I can watch it undisturbed and hear everything. So I can pause when I need to pause, rewind when I need to rewind, that kind of thing. And I dissect that first trailer. I won't watch any more trailers after this because I feel like anything else they show between now and the release of the movie will that will be where we start getting into the ruin. You know what I'm saying? That'll be when we start getting into it spoiling stuff. I mean, the movie comes out February 17th. So
yeah,
that is going to be, they gonna get money just from it being like a Valentine's Day movie. They gonna get money because the shit's probably gonna be good as hell. Let me say that. Real shit.
Yeah.
Like
yeah.
it looks fantastic. So I don't want to take anything away from Marvel. Like people just gonna go see it because they need something to do. But let me also say, in addition to the numbers they were gonna do, that shit comes out right after Valentine's. Valentine's Day is the 14th. This movie comes out on the 17th. That is a Friday. Best believe people is gonna be getting movie gift cards and shit, and this movie is going to do numbers. And it's crazy because Ant-Man should not be doing numbers like that.
Okay.
But the first two Ant-Mans were good as hell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the first two Ant-Mans were good as hell. So I'm looking forward to it. And that trailer actually had me a little hype. I watched that trailer a couple of times.
Same.
I've watched that trailer
Same.
a few times and it looks really, really good. And you know what? The guy who did the first Ant-Man is directing this one.
Edgar Wright or
Peyton Reed.
Oh, Peyton Reed. Okay.
He's directing, like he's doing the new one, Quantumania, and he did the first one. He also did Jim Carrey's Yes Man and Bring It On.
Oh, then absolutely.
So I'll give damn what you say. Like he makes watchable shit. It is good.
Yeah.
All of those, like, because I'm gonna tell you, everybody was watching Gabrielle Union and Kirsten Dunst battle it out as cheerleaders in the late 90s, early 2000s. You know what I'm saying? Because that shit was, and you know what? He also did. He directed a couple of episodes of The Mandalorian.
Ooh.
So he's got a solid fucking resume, man. So I'm definitely looking forward to seeing this next one. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And what are we predicting for? Got your coffee?
Did you finish getting coffee?
Okay.
Yeah, I got my coffee.
We was having a whole Marvel conversation. You was like, be right back, going to get coffee. Like, the fuck? That seems like TMI. You don't have to tell me that. But
Oh, you know what kind of coffee I got?
that doesn't make it any better.
Oh, we
sir.
know exactly what kind of coffee you got.
That doesn't make it any better, sir.
Yeah,
Actually, you know
for
what?
me-
No.
anything with Jonathan Majors, I'm gonna watch.
Yeah, I'm definitely more interested in this next Creed movie just because he's in it.
Absolutely. That trailer for that. Whoo!
I will say though, while I'm thinking about it though, so Ty, meet Dave, meet Ty. Tell him about the coffee you're actually having, because I know what you're talking about. So tell him about it.
So there is a group I watch on YouTube, and they put up an ad for this company that sells alcohol. And I'm like, okay. It's called Mr. Black. It is a coffee liqueur that is created by coffee brewers. Like, it's a coffee brewing company that decided to make alcohol.
Okay.
And you could literally if you like your coffee black, you could drink it straight. Put a little cream in it. Phenomenal.
So I gotta say something, and I want to just go ahead and preface that I really appreciate you guys wanting to share this with me. I'm not a coffee drinker.
The fact that, but the fact that it is a
Yeah, the fact that it's now a coffee liqueur made by brewers, like that's very much of interest to me. But I'm more of a tea guy. So when I think of like gin as just like a juniper tea vodka tea, that kind of opened the world with me. I was like, ooh, what kind of other vodka teas can we make? Because really, vodka is just a neutral spirit, and gin is just a neutral spirit that's been distilled and infused with juniper berry at the minimum.
Right.
So,
I mean, the only thing that threw me off about it was that it was a
black?
vodka.
No.
Right. I had a big problem with that. Like, what the hell is this?
Mr. Black? Huh?
Right. I was like, what you trying to say? What you trying to say? But no, and actually we did get a little bit, and we have it here. The wife has not tried it yet, but she wanted to try it as she is now. You know, it's funny. I had a single pot coffee maker for a long time, and then I had like your standard Mr. Coffee maker for a while. It normally stayed like up in the pantry, and she always wanted to get it off the counter. And her ass started working these weird hours and started drinking coffee. All of a sudden, we got a fucking Keurig, and we got a coffee holder spinner bullshit. Like, we got all types of coffee products around this bitch now that she drinks coffee. But you know,
You were slowing it, man. She's elevating your life in more ways than one.
The funny thing is like I was not permitted to spend money on shit like that when I was the only one drinking coffee.
Oh, that changes things.
And now that she drinks coffee, we have all the nice shit. To put it in perspective, I used to have, and you can appreciate this, I used to regularly have bottles of Paul Masson here at the house. I got the Paul Masson VSOP, and I would buy the big bottle, and that would be the thing. And then one day the wife decided like she was just doing too much on the wine. She had to drink less wine, blah, 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 blah. So I was like, well, here, have a drink and you can do this. The Paul Masson's a little rough for her. I'm not going to lie. It's not top shelf by any means. It was economical. But that Crown Black, I don't even have to ask if we have any. She keeps that in stock. We do not run out of Crown Black around this camp now.
I'll have to try Crown Black, but I've kind of been turned off because, like, Crown Royal, it costs what it costs, but you can get Canadian R&R Reserve. You can get like a $7.50 bottle for like $20. Tastes leagues above Crown.
What was that called?
Canadian R&R Reserved.
Let me throw that in the comments real quick.
I mean, you can take it further. There's a lot of Canadian whiskeys that are just fantastic, but the fact that there was something so cheap that was even better, that's way better than Crown.
Oh no, I absolutely appreciate the economical aspect of Canadian R&R Reserve. Like, I love that. The last thing I bought was Uncle Nearest.
Oh, which one? The 84 or the 56?
I would have to look at the bottle.
Was it the $40 or was it like the $80 bottle?
$40.
Okay. Yeah, that was the 84. That's a fantastic bottle, man.
It's 100 proof. It is amazing. It's
Wait,
smooth.
I told you about that bottle.
You did, and I'm letting you know I got it.
I'm so glad you did. Oh, that's so good.
I'm letting you know I got it, and everything else about it just sounds fantastic. For those who care, it is Black owned. It is locally brewed. It is fantastic.
It is historical.
Wait, it's local.
It's made in Tennessee. Basically, it is the family of Nathaniel Green, who is the former slave that taught Jack Daniels how to make whiskey.
I think I read that story.
Yeah. And the whiskey is fan-fucking-tastic.
Yes.
I'm currently, what I was just drinking was the Whistle Pig Piggyback Rye that's finished aging in New American Oak barrels. So it's kind of like a rye whiskey that's kind of gotten a bourbon treatment. And then Davies County as well is a bourbon that's finished aging in a Cabernet, but they also have one with the French oak finish. So those are my recommendations if you want to try something new.
There you
Yeah,
go,
see,
folks.
we might
Amazing
need to
recommendation.
talk at some point, Ty, because I need to elevate my whiskey game a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And
That would be who you could talk to about it.
yeah,
And I definitely check it out. And that Uncle Nearest that's going to be my new personal go-to. But when I have to have like this size, I'm going to probably stick with the Crown because I would not be having a conversation if it was this size of the Nearest. Couldn't do it.
we won't talk about how much actual coffee's in this.
I got you. The last thing, Ty, I did not tell you. I don't know if you heard on our last show, but I am changing our format just a wee bit.
Okay.
We are going to be switching some things up. I am moving to a 2-hour segment for Weigh-In Wednesdays. Last year, we used to run long. We ran about 3 hours consistently, and it was great because I love talking with my friends. But we have viewers, and they have lives, and they have other shit to do. I appreciate them being here with us, and so I want to try to keep it simple, straight to the point. We get in, we talk about our content, we let it go. So I am going to be cutting the show to 2 hours, and before the year is out, hopefully by the summer, we will have a plan in place and a format set up where we will break the show down 1 solid hour every episode. Get in, have the laughs, talk about it, get out. But right now we're working on cutting it down to 2 hours because I'm talking with my boys. We would just sit here and talk all fucking night. We're not going to do that to y'all anymore. So we're going to do better. The last thing I want to talk about tonight, The Last of Us.
Oh boy.
HBO.
Oh
David,
boy.
I even wore a PlayStation shirt in honor of this Sunday.
Oh boy.
You have low expectations, I take it.
I do. Not okay. So, all right. Hear me out. Hear me out on this. All right.
You're wearing a Kirby blanket. I want to hear you out.
You know what? Wait a minute. We'll do this right. The floor is yours, sir.
All right. So hear me out on this one. Okay. I have no doubt in my mind that The Last of Us HBO television series is going to do well. It, like, from the little bit that I saw so far, it looks great. Casting, like, everything looks great. I'm tired of The Last of Us.
Oh,
I'm tired of it. Like, not so much that, like, I'm tired of the series itself. Like, I loved part 1. Part 2 was kind of it was okay. It was all right. It was all right. I'm at this point, I'm looking for a part 3. I don't want to see part 1 for the 3rd time.
Oh, okay.
Because we did just get a Last of Us remake like 20 minutes ago.
I'm good with that because we have The Last of Us when it originally came out as a video game. And that was, when the hell was that? How many years ago was that?
Like, I think like 10 at this point. I think. It's been a minute.
Let's see. So we have The Last of Us, and it's funny, like, it's so old that they've now rebranded it as The Last of Us Part 1. I just want to see the PlayStation information. So we have The Last of Us, then we have The Last of Us Remastered.
Yep. Oh, sorry, the 4th time. My bad. Sorry.
Right. So that's and to your point. Like, that I can understand. That does actually put a slightly different spin on what you're saying here, and I think that's important to note as well, because it's not so much that you just are anti Last of Us.
Yeah,
it is the same story.
You're starting over.
Yes, exactly.
We are in fact starting. This is the, you know what? I won't go there. I won't go there. I was about to say, this is the equivalent of like Pistols and Pearls. It's not quite that bad. We're not doing Batman origin story again type thing,
right?
But it is taking us all the way back to the original because the Last of Us Remastered came out in like 2014.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the original Last of Us had to be even before
13.
that.
You got it. Okay.
It originally came out in 2013.
Yeah, so because like the Last of Us became an instant classic,
Okay.
and don't get me wrong, the first game is phenomenal.
Come get it.
It is a phenomenal game.
I will never take away anything from the first Last of Us game because it hit so hard. But after the second time doing part one again, like I don't know if I have it in me to like really like want to watch it again, you know, or experience it again.
And that's fair.
Yeah, I can accept that being the hesitation or the reason for any internal conflict with it.
That's an acceptable response.
You know what? That's fair. That's fair. I can get
Now,
that.
am I still gonna watch it? Probably.
Of course. Like
I might give it like a couple weeks to like, you know, because I like to binge watch some stuff sometimes. So I might give it like a couple weeks. Give
right,
like
and
a
it
good
does
3
seem
episode
as though
head start.
this is not going to be I mean, it's coming on HBO, so we're not going to get like all episodes right away.
Right.
Yeah, it'll be episodic.
I think they're doing 4 opening day.
Oh.
Oh.
3.
Now, when I looked up the episode guide online, it's on the internet, so it's got to be true.
Right?
The online episode guide showed
Made some progress. I'll get
one episode on the 15th, Sunday, one episode on the 22nd, another episode on the 29th.
you. Turn it
Now, if they somehow come back and do 4 episodes, oh shit,
What? Are you getting me?
they might have me all the way. Either way, I'm gonna watch it, and I will probably do. Like I would even say, you can probably expect. Oh, and you know what? Don't worry about missing the whiskey conversation, man. You can always go back and watch the video tomorrow. Yeah, and I will. I think did I? You know what? Just find the comment where it says Canadian R&R. That's the whiskey combo, and you'll be right there. You can skip through to that part.
Okay, look at the marshmallow.
But
Look at the marshmallow.
Look
The,
at the marshmallow.
Come
I'm
on.
like,
Great.
is that Linda?
Yeah, that's Linda.
Hey, Linda.
I want to teach Jack to climb upstairs.
Handsome Jack can't climb stairs. I find that hard to believe.
We have a set of like little doggy stairs by the bed, and Jack refuses to do anything.
He's
with it.
like, no,
My
you
dog
pick me up
refused to
like
do
a
it, too.
regular person. Spoiled ass.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna
Spoiled
climb.
ass motherfucker.
No, you will pick me up. That's exactly
Just
what Handsome Jack is doing.
Every night.
Yeah, my dog does the same thing. Well, he'll jump down because he wants to eat, and then he'll like growl. He's like, "Why aren't you picking me up?" Because like, motherfucker, it is 2 a.m.
Right. Like you made your decision. Now you got to live with it.
Right. You know what? I'm definitely looking for. I'm looking forward to The Last of Us as a show. It is something that I am okay to
Come on, you can do it.
do weekly. You can probably expect for me to talk. It's given that it comes on Sunday, I will probably have it watched by Wednesday every week. So
Yeah.
I will, if it's like good shit in the episode, I'll be like, oh my God, did y'all see that last episode? That'll probably be me, but it won't be like I'll have to do a weekly review. If it's some big shit, if it's a good episode,
Yeah.
you know, I'll mention it.
I'm probably gonna watch it just to see like how it differs from the game itself. Just so I can have that as a reference.
Just to be able to pick this, pick that.
Yeah. So now like, and then I'll have that'll depend if I have issues with it or not. Like if it is just a 1-to-1 retelling of The Last of Us, or are we gonna go into further depth on anything? Because I mean, how many? It's the Uncle Ben thing again. It's like how many times do I have to watch Joel's daughter die? Like, come on.
Yeah.
Oh, spoilers.
I'm
by the
not
way,
built
sorry.
for that. I'm not built for that. I mean, you know what? I feel like that is going to be a first 10 minutes. I feel like that's where they're going to open it.
Well, they would have to. That's how that opened in the game.
Right. But I'm saying, like you were saying, how it's going to differ. I don't think that they're going to do like a 30-minute backstory of him like picking her up from school and life like normal, blah, 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 blah.
Oh no,
showing his
we're
establishment.
I'm fairly certain like they'll spend 15, 20 minutes max on it.
No, I think we're
Maybe.
just gonna like open up and see wreckage, darkness, him coming like coherent, looking around, and the house is on fire type shit.
Yeah.
My house is on fire.
My daughter is gone again. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
God.
It'll be. I will actually, you know what? That'll be my very first statement. I won't even call it a prediction, but that'll be my very first statement. If they do not open up the same way as the game,
Fail.
yeah, that is going to be a major, like, I will be turning my nose up right away if it goes down like that.
I'm not. I want to see this child die again.
Would you prefer that they like just skip past and go right to him being solo? Because I feel like, unfortunately, it's still necessary.
It would have to be a flashback if it's not in the beginning.
Yeah. See, a flashback I can do because they're not going to spend like that terribly long on a flashback. We got Ellie to get to.
You know what? And I think as we move forward and get to the other portion of that content, that will definitely be a big thing. But I feel like they would benefit more for those people who didn't play the game. And that's the thing that you have to remember. Now that it's a live action TV series.
And that is also true, yeah.
It'll be people who didn't play the game and don't know that part of it. And I would say spoil. I'm not going back to add the spoiler warning.
No, it's like a
it's so long at
old
this
game,
point.
bro.
Yeah, like I'm not even gonna try to be like, well, you know, hey, spoiler,
like,
let's not
oh my
talk
god, you spoiled Final Fantasy VII, like dog, bro.
But if you ain't know who was in that, like, but
Bruh, you spoiled the first season of Pokemon.
Bruh.
Let me tell you something. He does not catch them all by the end of the
He
first
doesn't.
season, okay.
I'm gonna tell you something right now. It takes him 25 years to become a champion. Just
25
just
years.
You
He
know
hasn't
He's
aged
become a
a
champion.
day.
he actually hasn't. he's still canonically. Well, no, technically he's 11. He's 11. He did have a birthday in the first season.
Okay. Well, there you
So
go.
technically he's 11.
That's a shame.
That's a shame.
Well,
You know what's not a shame?
oh,
Next week, are we launching Fantastic?
We are.
Hmm.
Look at my man with the plug. So we are trying to set up a full schedule of events. I think what
Ooh.
we're going to do as we move forward, we're going to make the first Wednesday of every month our Weigh-In Wednesday episode.
Oh,
Our second Wednesday of every month will be a free-for-all, much like today, where we'll find content from our Topic Tuesday. Damn it, people. I put a post up. Pay attention.
I responded.
And that's why. And what did we talk about?
We talked
You
about
got
the
a
OGL.
full hour on that shit. Like, thank you. But no, we'll have Topic Tuesdays, and that'll be the content that we pour into for our second Wednesday of the month. Our third Wednesday of every month is going to be our new series, Fancasted. We were going to do Fancasted 4, but I couldn't guarantee a fourth person every time. And I was like, you know what? We'll keep it open. And odds are we'll at least have one other person on the show, but we hadn't decided how we were going to do it. And I think what we're going to do is we're just going to stick with our live show. and it'll just be a segment in our show. We'll do the third Wednesday every month will be our fan casted episode. I'll go ahead and throw it out there so people can be prepared. Our very first episode of Fancasted will be Back to the Future.
Oh.
Back to the Future. And as we discuss Back to the Future, the things that you are looking to do, what the objective here, you are wanting to cast the characters. You're like, who should be Marty? Who should be Doc? Who should be the dad? Who should be the mom? We are casting, we're doing fan casting of the show. Ergo, fan casted. We were going to have 4 people solid. Expect Jeffrey, Ty, myself, 3 of us guaranteed. And then, of course, a 4th person. And it would have been the Fantastic 4. But it's all good.
Well,
You,
I
the
mean, if you
viewer.
discussed it with me,
You, the viewer, will be 4. And obviously, I expect you to be here, Dave. Like you are like you are my co-host. You are. I'm trying to think of all the great duos like Conan and that guy Andy, David
And that
Letterman,
guy.
David Letterman, and the guy with the glasses and the little ponytail. Paul Shear, is it? Schaefer. There we go.
That's a
so
generic
I need
white
to get
name. I
a
understand.
I just made myself sad because I was like Ellen in Twitch, and that made me sad.
Oh,
I didn't mean to do that. That legit made me sad.
So do I need to get a drum kit?
You could, because all my corny jokes need a
Rim shot
symbol. They all need, but yes, that is going to be our next week. Tune in. We're going to be doing Fancasted. The series opener is going to be Back to the Future. You've heard it here. So, fellas, if you want to get your cast together, who would you put as Marty? Who would you put as Doc? Who would you put as the
Biff.
father, the mother? And were we just doing the 4?
we got to do Biff.
Oh, right, Biff. Biff was the other. Biff. Who's gonna be Biff? Because Biff is a major player. That is a major player in the series. So come up with those people, come up with that cast, who you want to be a part of your movie. What you got?
So Marty, Doc, the dad, and Biff.
And the mom.
And the mom. So 5. Okay.
Yep. Marty, Doc, the parents, and Biff. And if you just want to like get wild and crazy, pick the girlfriend too. But I feel like she'll be kind of interchangeable.
Well, I mean,
she was in the original trilogy.
And honestly, she was not necessary.
I mean, they couldn't have had kids otherwise. I will say she was necessary.
He still could have had kids.
Let's not get into that conversation.
We had a whole breakdown of variants. Now, I'm telling you, it had to be her. Let's see. But yes, that is going to be next week's episode. So go ahead, get your cast selected, pick out who you want to pick out. But that's it for me. Was there anything else anybody wants to say before we wrap tonight? Any other thoughts, comments, ideas? We are good. I am okay with that. It has been a wonderful time talking with you gentlemen tonight. I want to thank all of our viewers. I will have it worked out next week for comments. Whatever I did tonight, I won't do that shit anymore. We will have all the comments back on screen like they're supposed to be. I want to thank everybody who joined us, everybody who watched, and everybody who will watch. Be sure. Oh, wait, it's not even up there. Bam. Be sure to click that QR code. Make sure you subscribe, join us, follow us, bring a friend. We're trying to grow in 2023. Bring a friend, bring somebody with you so that
Tag
you
a
have-
friend.
Tag a
There
friend,
you go.
exactly. Share this shit so that we can get out there, people can see us. I would love to do this all day long for you all, and that is how we do it. Help us grow and make 2023 the year of the geek. That's it for me. For Ty Wiscalodian, David Heroic Hat at everything, Southdown Leatherworks, me, your admin Sam. We are Grown A Geeks. This has been Weigh In Wednesday, and we are out of here. Peace.